me show you a tool I found to help me plan out some of my trips for 2023. So I'm going to go to RightOnTrek's website, RightOnTrek.com. Now, RightOnTrek, they make a bunch of different backpacking and camping meals. They make breakfast and lunches and dinners, but they also do an entire meal kit. So I've reviewed some of them on my channel. And you can order these all here, but what we're going to do is use their trip planner. So I'm going to go to Trails, and this is going to take me to Wilderness Studio. Now here I can kind of narrow it down a little bit. So let's go to Glacier National Park. So that's pretty cool. 1,000,000 acres here. This gives a description of where it is and what it is. And it shows you on a map. Now I can go over here to Wanderings, and it shows me different trail options. So here is here's a 35-mile trail. So I'm going to click on it. So it gives me screenshots, pictures from the trail. It gives me a breakdown. I've got a 35-mile trail. It shows the elevation, gives a breakdown of the trail. And here's an itinerary. So it gives you the entire trail, the entire breakdown. It gives you your campsites. You can go through points of interest. What's this? Boulder Pass, Brown Pass. So here's your elevation day by day. It breaks down your miles per day. There's day 3. And then when you go down to the bottom, there's directions to the trailhead to get you there. The history, the rules and regulations. This is pretty slick. It tells you what permits are required and what the fees are. Animal hazards. What kind of specific gears and skills are required. So this saves me a ton of time. So before I would go to the library and I would get guidebooks and you'd look on the internet for different types of trips. So a lot of these trails also, they have different versions. Here is a Stony Indian Pass Trail, and I'm going to go there, and you've got 3 different plans. So I've got a 2-day. If I don't have time for the whole thing. And then there's a couple different 3 days. So there's options on these. There's breakdowns, different routes you can take. And again, this is a 9-mile-a-day trip. Different starting and end points. Pretty low trip, not a lot of elevation change, so it lets you know what you need to prepare for. An outstanding feature. You're never going to find this kind of up-to-date information in any guidebook. This saves me calling around. I've got actual water sources. There's a lot of areas around me that it's non-potable water, so you'd have to carry it. It would tell you all that stuff here. Typical weather. That is pretty cool. Now, the coolest thing with this is, if this is the trip you want, you can create a trip. So I'm logged in now. It's helpful if you remember your password. So we'll do a different trip here. So I'm going to go to the Bob Marshall Wilderness area. And you can zoom out and see where this is on the map. So this is in northern Montana. So let's look at Wanderings and Bob Marshall. And let's find us a trail here. Looking for a couple-day trail. Okay, here's a 32-mile trail. So there's 2 itineraries, so I can do this as a 4-day, or I can do this as a 2-day. So let's go ahead and do the 4-day trip. Here's our complete breakdown, 8 miles a day, again, just like the other ones. I can see my elevation change. I've got my complete breakdown. So I decide this is the trip that I want to go on. So I am going to go create trip. So this is going to be named Badass Trip, and you'll select your dates. Let's go in late June. And you can start your trip. So now that I've got my badass trip planned, I've got my logistics to it, how to get there, and then I've just got different things I can add. I can add to my meals. I can add different gear that I'm going to need for this trip. I can add people if I chose to, and I can just send them right to this link. And probably the coolest thing about this is you can go to their meals and you can create a custom meal plan for this trip. So now when I'm on RightOnTrek's meal preference, I can choose, I really don't have any allergies or restrictions. I think that was a 3-day trip. Oh, 4-day trip. Let's do a 4-day trip. We're going to stick with 2,400 calories. So you can choose if you like sweet or savory snacks. If you don't like plant-based food, I'm going to go rarely on plant-based food. Everything else looks pretty good, but any specific selections you've got. So for your lunches, you can pick different items here. You can go with bars or granola. I kind of like a granola sometimes. I do like snacks. I do coffee. I'm not a tea or a hot cocoa drink person. I usually don't do hot lunch. Tuna and oyster crackers, I'm going to say rarely. Charcuterie, that sounds awesome. Hummus and cheese, I can definitely do without. For dinner now, so if you don't like pasta and you prefer a stew, that's something you have for an option. I'm going to drop tea again. A sweet dessert's good sometimes. Now, you can actually select your snacks. So I've been going over these on some of my shorts, testing some of these different snacks out because they do have a lot of different options. I'll probably drop the protein bar back. Crackers are pretty good. I appreciate a crunch sometimes. We'll drop the dried fruit back just a little bit. And then it generates my meals for me. So here it is. So I just planned my trip, and now I have completely planned all my lunches. And then you can go day by day and remove something. You can add something. You can modify anything you want. You can adjust your preferences back to where you started from. And it gives you the entire weight. So when you're packing, everybody's got their base weight, and the planner showed where water was, so we know we don't have to carry water. And now I'm going to add 5 pounds to my base weight. And it doesn't stop here. I can actually go and rent all my gear right here at their wilderness studio. So this is available in Glacier National Park. This is a 24/7 pickup. So I'm going to arrive early anyway to get everything set up. So before I get there, I'm going to go ahead and select my backpacking gear. I'll go next. So I'm just going to put those same dates in if I was able to remember. I think it was here. And if I had other people, I would add them there. So this is perfect. If you were in a situation where you were flying in, you literally rent a car at the airport and you can drive to the 24/7 pickup. You can get your food. You can get your camping supplies. Let me get a 1-person tent. Let me get 1-person cook system. And you don't have to get this if I'm a hammock camper personally, but I don't have an inReach, so that would probably be a good idea. My family would probably appreciate being able to get a hold of me. So I am 6 foot tall, so I'm going to go with a regular backpack. I should not require a long sleep system. I'll take trekking poles, give me a bear sack. Bear spray I probably will keep. And there's my damage waiver. Review my order. And right here, I can pick this up right at the RightOnTrek Wilderness Edge facility. There is a second pickup point here, outdoor lockers, and then there's indoor-outdoor lockers at the Wilderness Trek. This other one is a Glacier Outdoor Center. I have never been to Montana before, but this summer when I head there, I'm definitely going to have to check out that Glacier Raft Company as well. So here is my entire system. Now, I don't have to know anything. I don't have to know anybody in the area. I can click, pick my trip, pick my food, get my supplies, send my gear request, and my vacation is planned. Now that is freaking awesome. Now this is Montana based, so most of the stuff is around this area, but they are expanding. So there's a lot of other options available when you start to look at what these trips are. A lot of different places, a lot of different, a lot of possibilities here. So I know what I'm going to be doing this summer, and I know how I'm going to plan my trip. It's just a question of, are you going to do something this year, or are you going to put it off and maybe get to it later? Personally, I'm going to start clicking, going to start ordering stuff, and my summer is going to be spent out here, and the RightOnTrek website is helping me out quite a bit. Till next time, this has been Jamie Boggs with Burning River Bushcraft. See you soon.